Y'all know what time it is. What's up, everyone? What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? Come on in to the door right there. Come on in. Come on in, guys. Just looking at this, these different dealership, Cadillac, Lincoln, Mercury. Driving out here on Southside Boulevard, guys. Getting ready to go home. I had a long day today, guys. Kind of tired. Glad the day's over with. But yeah, man, I want to just talk to you guys about something that's very, very important. Not only to me, but you as well. And with today's subject, guys, we're going to talk about you dictate your own life. It's okay to take advice. In fact, I advise people take advice from everyone at all times over here on Butler Boulevard. There's nothing wrong with taking positive advice. And the thing else about advice, I think I'll go into that tomorrow. The thing about advice, you can take different types of constructive advice as well as constructive criticism from people, and then you form it and how make it work into your own life. But don't let people dictate your life. I'm gonna say it again. Don't let people dictate your life, even sometimes even if it's for the positive. Don't let people dictate your life, even if it's for the positive. And I'm going to tell you why. Because life is a journey, guys. Life is one big journey. And we got to navigate that through every day. See, I'm going to tell y'all something. You know why people get caught up in these religious cults? That's what they really are. Even though the leaders, they'll come on YouTube and say, no, we're not a religious cult. But the thing is that we got rules where we work at, and the people gonna stay on and gonna follow our rules here at this religion. They gotta wear this, and they gotta dress like this, and they gotta do that. And if they don't follow our rules, then we're gonna kick them out and all this kind of stuff. And people, what happens is a lot of times with those religious groups, I shouldn't say cult, but they are cults. But anyway, I'll say religious groups. What usually happens a lot of times is that people give up all their inhibitions to those people. They give up all their self-esteem to those people. They feel like those people are that knows best for them. And in return, they wind up letting people think for them, do critical thinking for them. Now, I'm going to tell you how they sink people in. What they do is a lot of them have good charisma. And listen, you got to have a spirit of discernment to see that. And they give good advice. I even watch a couple of them channels, and they give good advice now. They're really good. But if you don't have a spirit of discernment, and you let people think for you, then there's an issue there. There's a problem. You cannot let people think for you. You cannot let people dictate your life. Like I said before, there's nothing wrong with getting a lot of advice from people to navigate your way through this thing called life. Nothing wrong with that. But when it gets to the point where people want to tell you how to live, and tell you how to dress, tell you how to step forward and step backwards, then it becomes an issue. Now, however, here's the thing. If you're in the military, that's a totally different subject. If you're in the military, you're under the contract with the government. I'm not talking about that. Let's use our common sense, guys. Because there's a structure and a job and an order you have to do. But you shouldn't have to do that in your everyday life. You shouldn't have to come home and have somebody tell you you can't watch TV, you can't do this, you can't do that. You a grown man and a grown woman. funny thing about it is just these leaders, they come on YouTube talking about, I don't let my flock of people, I don't let or allow them to watch TV. But you watching TV, you up on the news, and you letting them going on. Some Jim Jones shit or Charlie Manson stuff. I mean, I know it's not that extreme. Actually, the ones that's not that extreme are the most dangerous ones, because you can get suckered right into it. But outside of the religious cults, call it what it is, you know, you can be a grown adult and you can let family members dictate your life. And, you know, with parents, you know, most parents want to see the best for you. But a lot of times you have parents that they let life pass them through, and they try to live their life through you. Try to live their life through their daughters, because it was a dream of theirs to be this beautiful model. And that's why a lot of times those girls wind up with all that makeup on at the age of 5 and 6 and 13 years old, because their mom projecting their dream through them. That's what they wanted to do when they was little girls. And I can go on and on and on and tell you about projection. You know, fathers wanting to be a sports figure, wanting to be a sports athlete, and when their boys are 12, 11, 13 years old, they're really hard on them, because they're trying to live their personal dreams through them, because they didn't get a chance to get into to college or in the NFL. And then what happened is, if the son or the daughter becomes a model or a football player or basketball or whatever, it's disappointing to the parent, because they was projecting their dreams through their children. And let me say this, I'm gonna be honest with you, to a certain extent, that's kind of like a normal thing to project certain things to a certain extent, as long as you don't get obsessed with it, and you don't let your kids grow up without a childhood. You know what I mean? You know, they said Joe Jackson did the same thing to Michael Jackson and all that, to a certain extent. Now, I can agree to disagree with that, because it was a situation where Gary, Indiana is one of the worst ghettos in America, and that's where the Jacksons grew up at. And yeah, he was pushing for them to be successful and famous, but he wasn't projecting himself through them. It was just that the fact that they was in a situation, and he didn't want them to grow up as criminals and stuff. So I understood what Joe Jackson did. They try to demonize the man, but I think that he was just looking out for his children personally. But anyway, you can discern certain things. But when you're a grown behind man and a grown woman, and people telling you that you need to live your life according to what they think it should be, that's when you have issues. And then they use the Bible and the Old Testament. That's their favorite word. That's never the New, always the Old Testament. The way things were back then. And in a certain sense, with certain things was irrelevant today. At one time, we was the chosen people. Okay, at one time you were in the Bible. But now with the New Testament, and see, this is the problem. People don't read for themselves the book. And then they don't read the New Testament at all. And the reason why God sent his son to die for your sins, you know, so that you won't have to do like the Old Testament days. But it's all a mind control thing, guys. That's all it is. Like I said, it's one thing to be a child and have somebody to project their future through you, or their dreams through you as a child. But then you being a grown person and not doing the critical thinking that you need to do in order to get to the next level in your life. You got to use your critical thinking skills. Oh, look at that love car wash. You got to do it, guys. You got to think for yourself, because you got a lot of people out here who is charismatic, and they speak a lot of truth. But sometimes people are wolves in sheep's clothing. They'll throw out all this truth to hook, line, and sink you in for another reason and another purpose. And that's to control your mind. And they wind up hurting you more than they're helping you. And that's why you got to have a spirit of discernment. Alright? But yeah, man, you like I said before, you got to make the critical decisions on how you're going to navigate your life every day. And think for yourself and not let other people think for you. Alright? And I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you for a happy Monday. It's the 16th week. Whew. A lot of changes are coming very soon, guys. And I want to thank you guys for taking the time out to listen to my commentary. And listen, guys, if this is the channel for you, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that like button, also sharing with like-minded people like yourself, and don't forget to hit that notification button. That way you'll know be notified when new content is being presented to you, okay? But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and focus on driving. And I'll see you guys on the next one. And remember, I'm not just Tim, but I'm Tim's on demand. Alright, guys, go ahead and let yourself out. And I'll see you guys on the next one.